Hey guys, so we have the data download for part 1 of Legends Fest. Certainly have a lot of content to make today, to cover today. It's gonna be a lot of videos, so prepare yourselves. So obviously the first part of Legends Fest here is themed around the Fusion Reborn movie. We have the Synchro Gauge fusing Super Gogeta, we have LF Super Janemba, and then we have the 1% sparking Gotenks. I think definitely my biggest criticism of this part 1 is just the fact that we only have one 1% sparking character. Probably just because of this. We are getting 2 supporters, and I'm wondering if that kind of just eats into the development time that would take for another 1% sparking to be created. I guess Raditz's Scouter is also dropping today. That is a free-to-play supporter, the first ever free-to-play supporter. But let's go ahead and just briefly talk about the LF characters. Remember, we did breakdown videos for those characters when the reveal happened, so I'm not going to go into like a ton of detail about both of these guys. We will go ahead and start with Synchro Gauge Gogeta. We'll take a look at their stats. They are a range type. Now, here's the thing with this character. This is a ranged character, and most, if not all of their teams are strike-oriented. So I would hope that they have relatively close stats in terms of blast and strike attack, but let's see. Let us see. Okay, I mean, it's not the worst. 7,000 difference. It could have been way worse. I think Vegito Blue last year was way worse. Because Vegito Blue last year was a blast character, but all of his teams were strike. Right? So... and he had, I think it was either 15 or 20,000, I think, were the difference between his 2 stats. So, yeah, I mean, defenses are looking pretty good on this guy. Let's go ahead and just see what his post-fusion stats look like. Yeah. So, there's about 8,000 difference between the 2 stats. This guy's a melee blue, so I'm thinking maybe you just want to run him on a strike team regardless, even though he has higher blast stats. Okay, so a few things to talk about with this character. The first one is they are very similar, at least initially, just upon reading what they do, to the 6th anniversary Synchro Gauge characters. If you guys don't know how Synchro Gauge works, maybe you're a new player, a returning player, you haven't played the game in a while. The Synchro Gauge is on the bottom right side of your screen, and you use the Synchro Gauge to fuse into Super Gogeta with this character. And there are multiple ways to fill up the Synchro Gauge. This character slightly charges up the Synchro Gauge every time they use their switch ability. Let me actually just double check something. Is that the same wording as... Let me just filter here by like Fusion Warrior. Is that the same wording as the 6th anniversary characters? I don't know where this would be listed here. Yeah, slightly charges Synchro Gauge every time this character uses the switch ability. So yeah, it is the same wording, so it should be 1/4 filled up every switch. But then on top of that, they also fill up their Synchro Gauge with... because this character has so many gauges. They have the switch gauge, a unique gauge, and a Synchro Gauge. They fill up their tag gauge... I think it's 60%, right? Yeah, so this honestly might be the most impressive thing about this character, at least initially, in terms of their pre-fused states. On Strike/Blast Arts use, they're getting 5% of their unique gauge built up, which is a time type unique gauge, but then they're also getting 60% of their switch gauge filled up. So you fill up their switch gauge, you go into their switch ability, you destroy Dragon Balls, you go to Vegeta, Vegeta then has Cover Null, and then don't forget, Vegeta, right, should also have this as well, right? On Strike/Blast Arts, you switch gauge plus 60% once. So you use a Strike or a Blast with Goku, you fill up your switch gauge, you go into Vegeta, you use a Strike or a Blast once, you fill up your switch gauge, you go to Goku, and right away, you pretty much have half of your Synchro Gauge filled up. So it should be pretty easy to get this character's Synchro Gauge ready to go and for them to fuse. And if you aren't able to get their Synchro Gauge filled up by tag switching, they also have a secondary way to do this. If health is 50% or lower once, Synchro Gauge plus 50%. So they have a disrupt there, reduce key, increase enemy sub counts, but then they're also increasing the Synchro Gauge as well. So then we have Gogeta. Gogeta does seem very, very powerful. He has a lot of abilities. Look at this. That's a lot. Guaranteed draws a green card, which locks the opponent in for a few seconds. He draws a full hand, basically, with his main, right? 3 cards, blue card. 2 Dragon Balls, hand protection. He has endurance nullification. Now, the one thing I actually forgot to mention in his breakdown video is he actually has uncancelable cover null, this Gogeta. And the reason why that's so important is because it allows him to Rising Rush Ultra Fusion Zamasu characters, or Ultra Fusion Zamasu players. So if the opponent has Ultra Fusion Zamasu on standby and you go for a Rising Rush on Gogeta, that Fusion Zamasu would not be able to switch in and counter your rush. So that's a really powerful effect this Gogeta has. Again, same type of unique gauge. It is a time type gauge, but it does charge. There's no description of how fast it charges, which means it just charges normally. And then he also has 100% to charge rate right here, 100% unique gauge charge rate. So he seems pretty good. Blue card nullifies endurance, destroys 3 cards, 50% to blue card damage. It is a melee blue, which is why I was hoping he'd have like very, very close strike and blast stats. But again, I think you're probably going to want to go strike with this character, but we'll see. Guaranteed draws a green. 70% vanish restoration on this unlimited times is really crazy. That's a carryover from Vegeta's green, but Vegeta only has 2 times, two limits to this. You can only do that twice on the green card, but it's still pretty good. So overall, Gogeta looks really good. They also have buff removal, sub count reduction against big moves. So yeah, I mean, they'll look pretty good, I think. Next we have Janemba. Let's unfilter this. Janemba seems insane to me. He has a million ways to get his Vanish back. He has double card draw speed. He goes type neutral. He has endurance, buff removal, sub count reduction. I mean, he's got a lot. He's just got a lot of stuff. Here are stats. Actually, not the craziest stats. It looks like he's got like just barely 260 to main offense, which, again, for a 2025 LF character, almost 2026 major celebration headlining part 1 character, doesn't seem like the craziest stats, but his kit is really crazy. Okay, his kit is really good. 5 Kim Black. Oh, by the way, I forgot to mention that these guys have a armor break card, right? Yeah, they hold an armor break card. So that is something you're gonna have to remember. Whenever you fight against the Gogeta, they have the possibility of having an armor break card. So Janemba makes the enemy take more damage every time he uses strikes or a blast. By the way, Gogeta stacking damage on the strikes and blast arts cards themselves. Janemba does get permanent damage buffs from the blue and green card once, so you want to make sure you're using a green and a blue with this character as soon as possible, just so you can like kind of get that damage rolling as fast as you can. His ultimate is one of the more ridiculous parts about this character. So his ultimate actually draws another ultimate. Now, you don't actually want to do this until 60 counts have elapsed. So you want to use the main ability, destroy their entire hand, get an ultimate in your hand, and then once you use an ultimate, if 60 counts have elapsed, you get 2 Dragon Balls. Then you draw another ult, right, from this part, and then you get 2 more Dragon Balls. Janemba can get 4 Dragon Balls from this, which is absolutely insane. He gets his Vanish back, he nullifies endurance, gets more ultimate damage, uncancelable ultimate damage from that part. His unique gauge is also a time type gauge, but the thing with Janemba is Janemba does have, where is it? On battlefield entry, unique gauge plus 100%. 100%. Unique gauge plus 100% on battlefield entry. It doesn't say once only on this, huh? Yeah. So you just constantly get 100% to his unique gauge. And then when his unique gauge gets reset, you have to just basically use any card with his full unique gauge. The first time you draw a card, 30 key, 30% damage, draw speed, cover and all. And then the second time onward, he's got 80% vanish, 80% next damage for the next arts card, which includes ultimates, critical rate, and then nullifies element disadvantages. So yeah, he's pretty good. And then of course he also has endurance. He's got buff removal and sub count reduction against big moves. He has minus enemy card draw speed level 2 when he gets hit. He seals rising rushes when he gets hit, and then he also reduces key recovery. And when the enemy does a special cover change, he reduces ally sub count by 3 and seals their blue card. So even if he gets special cover changed against, Janemba's not going to be able to get hit by a blue card because it's going to be sealed. So overall, I think this character looks pretty crazy. So there's Janemba. Now, Gotenks, we saw a little bit of what this character could do in the like abridged breakdown yesterday, but let's just take a quick look here. We can go through his kit and see what he's looking like. So he's red. Okay, defenses look decent. Offenses look bad. I mean, it's a defense type character. This usually how things play out for defense type units is their offenses usually aren't that good. Okay, yeah, Gotenks is on movies, fusion, hybrid Saiyan, and that's pretty much all his teams. Yeah, other. Oh, there's a festival tag. Interesting. Okay. Minus 60% enemy Q recovery on hit in the low area. Okay. Strike on activation, damage plus 15%. Okay, so he's actually stacking damage on the strike and blast cards. I don't know why the blast card is 10 counts. This one's 15. I mean, technically you could build this guy however you want, right? Because he's a little bit better strike, but it doesn't really matter. Super Whirlwind Punch. So this is the blue card. Activation, special move damage plus 30%. On hit, ally sub count minus 3. Obscure enemy hand. Yeah, that's really powerful. Also, when special move is enhanced, all enemy damage received plus 20%, all enemy health restoration minus 30%. Blast everyone charging forward. The green card is a stop time. Draws one card, key plus 40, ally health plus 10%, ally damage plus 20%, ally sub counts minus 2. Pretty good. Yeah, you're healing the whole team, you're reducing sub counts, and you're buffing their damage. It's a pretty good effect. When special arts is enhanced, health plus 10%, damage plus 30%, cancels allies' attribute downgrades in normal conditions. So he could remove like paralysis from himself. So with the enhanced card, he's getting 20% healing to himself and 50% to his own damage. Okay. Ultimate is the Super Ghost Kamikaze attack. Massive damage on activation, 30% ultimate damage on hit, ally sub count minus 3. Seals enemy strikes as blast arts for 3 counts. Also, when ultimate arts is enhanced, all enemy damage received plus 20%, all enemy critical rate minus 20%. Blast armor when charging forward. All right. Main ability. Draws the ult, 30% health, 50 key, cancels attribute downgrades. Enemies Dragon Balls minus 1, which is nice. All enemies draw speed minus 1 for 15 counts. Yeah, that's pretty good. Dragon Ball destruction on main is always pretty powerful. His Z ability is blast attack. Okay, I mean that makes sense. You probably want to use this guy with Gogeta. That's why they positioned him like this. 35% blast attack and defense, and then movie strike defense. Starter ability, 250% damage, 220% damage guard, key recovery plus 80%, draw speed plus 1, nullify attribute downgrades 3 times. Okay, that's nice. Sub counts on switch minus 1, so he's got 9 sub counts instead of 10. Baseline, endurance with 25% recovery, ally movies, hybrids, or Saiyan damage plus 25%. Yeah, it's interesting that he gives Saiyan support because he's not even on the tag. And I made this point yesterday, but it's like, you would think that he would be giving this because of Gogeta, but Gogeta's movies. So they didn't need to give him that. I don't know. I'm still not sure why they gave him that. Saiyan support. I don't know. I actually don't know why they gave him that. So if you add that into his base damage, he's got 275% damage, which, you know, is pretty good. All right, and then we have this unique ability. On entry, he gets 1 card, 10% health, 30 key, nullifies damage received element disadvantage. He's got type neutral defensively for 5 seconds. On strikes, as blast arts or special arts use. On next act, yeah, this is the part I don't like about this character. On next activated special move / ultimate arts hit, paralyze infliction chance plus 10%. So if you use a combination of 10 strikes, blasts, and greens before using his blue or ultimate, you guaranteed paralyze the opponent, which is just so obnoxious. It's just so obnoxious. And even if you only use a few, like if you just use like 2 or 3, you still got like a 30% chance of paralyze, which could just work anyway, right? Then he gets cover null for 5 counts when he uses a card. When hit by third enemy arts, destroys 1 card, then draws special arts next twice. 15% health, ally sub counts minus 2, destroys 2 enemy cards, cancels buff effects, seals all enemies' main abilities. Wow. That's a really strong ability, but you got to eat 3 hits. That's the problem with this, right? When enemy attack ends, next activated blue card damage plus 50%, next activated special move arts cost minus 10, enhance next activated special arts, enhance next special move ultimate. So the way you enhance them is by getting hit. Yeah, they're going all in on this, because outside of this right here, he's got 0 disrupt as a defense type. They just packed all of his disrupt into getting hit by the 3rd arts. So you swap into Gotenks, he's not doing anything to hinder the combo. And then after you get hit 3 times, he's lowering sub count, healing himself, destroying 2 cards, canceling buff effects, and sealing main. I don't like this, actually. Because think about it this way. If they just gave him standard disrupt, most likely you wouldn't have to eat 3 hits in the first place, right? But now, in order to have any chance of stopping the combo, you have to get hit 3 times. And then their combo will most likely be over. He's not even reducing ki on this. So if you're fighting somebody who has card protection, they can kind of just ignore this. I would prefer if they just gave him normal disrupt. They're trying something new with this character. I don't think this is going to work. There's a powerful effect right here. Like these disrupt effects are strong, but I don't think this is going to work. I don't. And then special cover change against strikes. I am a little skeptical of this Gotenks. We'll see. Okay, and then we have the supporters. So King Yema, I think, is going to be the one to look out for from this update. King Yema is going to be specifically versus movies. So the enemy has 2 or more movies characters, which shouldn't be that hard to do considering this entire part 1 is based around movies. They also have to have at least 2 characters alive, and when that happens, he actually does seal an enemy. He seals an opponent, but the seal is for 15 counts. This is at max level for 15 counts, but that is very powerful. If you get into a position where you can seal an opponent's character and they only have 2 characters left, that could potentially just straight up win you the game. So King Yema, I think, is going to be really, really powerful. We also have Baba, who I don't think is going to be very good. Baba is going to be pretty much almost exclusively versus future teams. If your Rising Rush gets guessed, you have a base at level 99, a base chance of 20% for your Rising Rush to go through, even though it gets guessed. And then if you're fighting against a future team, which is really the only time I think you'd really want to bring this character, you have an extra 30% chance to overturn the lost Rising Rush wager. So if your Rising Rush gets guessed against a future team, you have a 50% chance now, a coin flip, to have it go through regardless. So yeah, there's a lot of different conditions that need to happen for this to be useful, because let's just assume that even though you lose the rush, even though your rush gets guessed, and the opponent is using a future team, then you still have a coin flip for this to not work. So it's really, I don't think Bob is going to be very good, unfortunately. Then we have Raditz Scout. This is a free-to-play supporter, the first one. They also said they have plans to give us another free-to-play supporter in Legends Fest. So this one just targets your first characters on the battlefield. Following conditions met at the start of battle. An enemy battle member is a Saiyan, so it should be pretty easy to do this. And then the effects is just 10% damage for 20 counts. So it's not really what I would consider to be like a crazy ability. But this is the first supporter ever that directly buffs your offensive power. So that is, kind of interesting. They also really dumbed down the Z ability stats for the free-to-play supporter here. That is just worth noting. But yeah, Raditz Scouter is the first free-to-play supporter. Again, probably not incredibly powerful. It is, I believe it's only for the character that's swapped in first, right? So whoever you lead off with is getting the effects of this. It's all because it's just ally on battlefield, so it's just going to be whoever you're starting the fight with gets 10% damage. That's it. So not incredibly powerful, but you know, at least it's something. So those are the new characters and supporters. Let's go ahead and take a look at the equips. We go over to the archive here. All right, so we have this season's PvP equip is Gogeta getting punched in the face by Janemba. It's pretty cool. Fusion Warrior or Regen. 12% strike and blast attack, 12% to health, and then 10% to pure strike and blast if this character is movies. Yeah, it's good. This is good. You're getting 12% to base and 10% to pure offenses, and then 12% health. Yeah, it seems solid. 12% health is really good. It's best defensive stat in the game, right? And then you're getting offenses, both pure and base. Yeah, I mean, it's basic, but it is good. It is good. We are not getting a new co-op equip this week because co-op doesn't reset until next week. All right, here's a new one. What is this? Janemba, like, descending here. The monster descends. This is for movies. 30% base blast, 30% base strike, 32% base strike, and blast attack. Yeah, I mean, people are going to look at this and be like, oh, this sucks. But like, it's actually pretty good. It's a lot of stats. In total, you're getting what? 124% base stats from this? That's a lot. That's a lot of stats. It does also look like, you know, I wouldn't call either Gogeta or Janemba like super mega leaning towards one stat. Obviously, Janemba is going to be better on a strike team. Gogeta is going to be better on a blast team. They have like 8,000 higher to their respective main offenses, but you can definitely still make good use of like blast attack on Janemba and strike attack on Gogeta, especially for Gogeta, considering that his blue card post transformation is a melee card. So yeah, I actually do kind of like this. There's just a lot of stats on this, a lot. So I don't actually hate this one. This actually, is that it? That might be it. That might be it. Yeah. Next week we will be getting the co-op equip, and then I imagine we'll also get. I think next week will probably be the platinum equipment for Ultra Namek Goku. So, yeah, that's pretty much all we have here. I'll be doing a separate video breaking down the overall celebration once I finish. I'm going to do a summon stream, obviously. Once the summon stream is done, I'll jump into doing probably the breakdown of the celebration details, and I'll probably do the equipment guide for Gogeta and Janemba, because we have a few hours before PvP. PvP is going to reset a few hours after the banners go, but it's 3 hours later, so... Let me know what you guys think of Gogeta and Janemba Part 1 Fusion Reborn for Legends Fest 2025. Hope you guys enjoyed this one, and I will see you in the next one.